Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's your friend and expert angler here, ready to give you the inside line on the fishing for the week ahead from the 9th to the 15th of February 2026. Now, have you ever looked at a forecast and thought this is going to be a real test of skill? Well, friends, this is one of those weeks. We're looking at a proper roller coaster of conditions across the UK, a week that will separate the casual casters from the true tacticians. Stick with me because I'm going to break down exactly how these changes will affect the fish and how you can use it to your advantage to land something special. This isn't just a weather report, this is a battle plan for your fishing week. First up, let's talk about our prime targets for this time of year, the mighty pike, the perky perch, and the cunning chub. These are the fish that will be most catchable if you know where to look and what to offer. Let's start with pike. In these cold water conditions, Essex is all about conserving energy. They won't be chasing wildly. So where do we find them? Look for the deeper spots in your rivers and lakes. Think drop-offs, the bottom of shelves, and any significant underwater structure like fallen trees or bridge supports. These are their winter ambush points. Now, for tactics. This week is perfect for a static approach. A dead bait, like a roach or mackerel presented on the bottom, is a classic for a reason. Be patient. If you're a lure angler, the key is slow. Think large, soft plastic shards retrieved with a painfully slow roll along the bottom, or a suspending jerkbait with pauses lasting up to 10 or 15 seconds. The bite won't be a savage slam, it will be a subtle pluck or a heavy weight on the line, so stay focused. Next, let's tackle the perch. Much like pike, they'll be shoaled up and lethargic. You need to find their haunts. On canals and rivers, look for marinas, moored boats, and any concrete structures that might hold a little heat. On lakes, it's all about those deeper areas and snags again. The key to catching them this week will be finesse. This is not the time for fast-moving lures. My number one recommendation is the dropshot rig, a small 1 or 2 inch lure like a creature bait or a tiny fish imitation, hovered right on their nose is irresistible. Another great method is the Ned rig, just slowly dragging that little mushroom head along the bottom. Bites will be incredibly delicate, often just a slight tap-tap, so sensitive gear is a must. A braided mainline with a fluorocarbon leader will help you feel everything. Finally, the ever-reliable chub. Chub are one of our best winter species, but they can be spooky. With the mixed weather, finding them is key. They'll be seeking stable water, often in slightly deeper, steady glides or tucked right under overhanging trees and bushes on the far bank. They are suckers for a smelly bait. My advice is to travel light and stay mobile, but when you find a likely spot, use baits like bread flake, cheese paste, or a big bunch of maggots on a link ledger rig. The trick is to use just enough weight to hold the bottom, allowing the bait to gently waft in the current. Be stealthy on the bank. These fish have excellent eyesight, and in what might be clearer water towards the end of the week, they will bolt at the first sign of danger. Now let's get into the why. Understanding the conditions is what turns a hunch into a certainty. For the weather this week, we're starting mild and damp. From Monday to Wednesday, expect air temperatures to hover between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius, with light rain and overcast skies. The atmospheric pressure will be relatively stable but on the lower side. This often encourages fish to feed, albeit not aggressively. But then, friends, comes the big change. From Thursday onwards, a cold northeasterly wind is set to arrive, dragging temperatures down. We're talking daytime highs of 0 to 1 degree and nighttime temperatures dropping to -4. This will be accompanied by clearing skies and a sharp rise in atmospheric pressure. This sudden shift will likely put the fish down and make them very hard to tempt. Water temperature is critical. At the start of the week, it will be cold, perhaps around 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. The fish will be slow, but when that air temperature plummets from midweek, the water will begin to chill even further. This sends a strong signal to the fish to conserve every last bit of energy, meaning feeding spells will become very short and very specific, often right at dawn or dusk. Let's not forget the moon. We begin the week on the 9th with a last quarter moon. The moon will then be in its waning crescent phase for the rest of the period. Fishermen's folklore often suggests that the days leading away from a full or new moon can be challenging, and the bite times can be less defined. I find it means you have to work harder, but the rewards are there. It's just another piece of the puzzle to consider. So biologically, the fish are in their full winter mode, their metabolism is slow, and they are feeding opportunistically rather than actively hunting for long periods. The key this week is to present a very easy meal right on their nose. The mild, stable start to the week is your best window of opportunity before the cold snap really bites. All right, let's put it all together. Here is my day-by-day breakdown for your fishing week. On Monday, the 9th of February, calling the bite good. We have mild air temperatures around 4 degrees, overcast skies and light rain. The pressure is stable. This is arguably your best day of the week. Get out there if you can. The fish should be in a feeding mood. For Tuesday, the 10th of February, the rating is good again. Conditions remain very similar to Monday, with light rain and temperatures holding steady before the change. It's another solid opportunity to get a bite, especially for chub and perch. Wednesday, the 11th of February, gets a tricky rating. The weather starts to turn. Temperatures begin to drop, and we could see a mix of rain and snow. This change can unsettle the fish, making the bite unpredictable. You might get a short, frantic feeding spell, or you might struggle. Thursday, the 12th of February, I'm rating as weak. The cold air is here. Temperatures will struggle to get above 1 degree with a noticeable northeasterly wind. The pressure will be rising. Fish will be adjusting to the change and likely have their mouths shut. A tough day is in store. Friday, the 13th of February, will be very weak. This is likely the coldest day, with temperatures possibly staying at 0 or below. High pressure and clear skies will make for beautiful, crisp conditions, but terrible fishing. The fish will be very lethargic. Go for a walk, but if you must fish, target only the deepest, most stable water. Saturday, the 14th of February, the bite remains weak. It's still very cold. However, after 2 days of stable, cold weather, you might find a small window of opportunity. A single bite from a big fish is possible, so if you go, be prepared for a long wait for that one moment of action. Finally, Sunday the 15th of February, I'm giving a tricky rating. It's still cold, but there's a chance of some snow showers. Sometimes a change like this can trigger a brief feeding spell as the pressure dips slightly. It's a long shot, but better than Friday or Saturday's prospects. So there you have it, friends, a real week of two halves. My best advice is to target the first 2 days if you can. If you can only get out at the weekend, scale down your gear, slow everything right down, and be patient. And that's your forecast. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you the very best of luck on the bank. Tight lines, and of course, neither a broken line nor a lost fish. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and please drop a comment below. Let me know your plans for the week or how your recent sessions have been. I read every single one. See you next time.